Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is August the 14th, 2022, and today I'm going to be discussing four stocks on watch this week for a move higher. Names like Target reporting earnings, also Walmart, I'll be discussing that is reporting earnings, along with Home Depot, also reporting earnings on Tuesday. I also do have Netflix that I'm going to be discussing. It has moved up 50% since its big drop. I am going to be looking at some targets of that. But before we get started, guys, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to the channel as we do release videos every Sunday. And if you are interested in trading with us on our Discord channel, Wealthy Mentor Trading, we do have a summer promo for 2 months for 97 bucks, and it includes all the names that we're discussing today, along with swing trading names, day trading names, options callouts, market analysis, and market prep every morning to get you guys going. So the link is in the description for that. So click that if you want to start trading with us. Before we get started as well, I would like to look at the S&P 500 as I do have some targets going into next week. As I did mention, 4,300 was that big major hurdle that was the second line that I wanted to see cross. And, we had a great week. We broke above 4,180, which was the first major target, and swiftly crossed 4,200 like it was nothing. I did mention to my students that 4,200 wasn't much of an area of resistance. It was more so 4,300. And as you guys saw the action from the markets last week, we really, drove past that $4,200 line and we stopped at 4,280, which is short-term resistance. So basically what I'm looking for is continued momentum towards 4,300, and 4,300 has been a level that has been difficult to beat. We had a rejection right here earlier on the year in April where we consolidated. Unfortunately, the bears won out and dragged the price all the way down to 36.50. So here we are once more testing that area. It's possible that we could get a double top scenario and a rejection back. We also could get a rejection back just because we have been running really hot lately, and it is an area where we could see the bears step in and momentarily push the price lower. So, a few things can happen. We can hit 4,300, get a rejection, drop back down to the 4,200 area, consolidate there, then the bulls obviously have to take over and give it one more try, right? So that's that scenario. We also can proceed higher, hit 4,300 and break that. And we also have the next level of resistance, which is that 4,350 to 4,365 if we do get above 4,300. So those are two scenarios. We also can consolidate under 4,300 for the whole week and nothing can happen. So major resistance ahead, basically what I'm trying to say, at 4,300. So beware that it was an area of rejection back in April, and history has a funny way of working out. Again, it could be another rejection point. And to me, it's that line where you're significantly changing the trend in the market and the overall outlook. 4,300 is an area where it can definitely change uh, investors' mentality. Right now, if we are still in the bear market, but getting above 4,300 is a step in the right direction. It can definitely ease a lot of tension with investors and the overall outlook. So definitely keep your eyes on that. As I did mention, 4,200 was an area where it just swiftly went by. So if we do get a rejection, look for that area of 42.30, 42.20 to get a pullback on. All right. So those are my views on the S&P 500. Everything looks pretty good so far. I'm going to be definitely keeping my eyes on 4,300 to see if we are still in a healthy market. All right. As I did mention, I do have four stocks that are ready for a move higher this week. And the first one on my list is Netflix. And as you guys know, Netflix recently reported earnings, and they were scheduled to lose another 2 million subscribers, but luckily for them, they came out and said we only lost one. So what happened was the stock rallied, right? It was terrible news, but it was less than they expected. So investors took off and pretty much pushed the stock higher. We were at that point where we were consolidating between 210. We got a nice breakout, and here we are moving even higher last week, just closing below that 250 area. So to me, this is significant because when we did get that drop on Netflix on that earnings bomb a few months ago, we created this gap right here, right? This price gap from 330 all the way down to that 250 area. Uh, We are testing that opening of that gap right here currently. And in between that, there's not much demand and there's not much price action where we could definitely see Netflix swiftly move up higher. It is about a 12% move, 10 to 12% move from 250 to 290. So that's what I'm going to be looking at, guys. We are still bullish. It is a bear flag scenario where it had the flagpole here, and here's the flag in south, and then we got a breakout, right? So I am going to be looking over 250. I wanted to keep you guys aware of this. My targets are 290 and 330. Will it happen next week? Maybe not. As long as the market runs hot and gets past that $4,300 mark, I do believe that Netflix will hit that $300 to 330 price gap fill. As I did mention, you know, the S&P 500 definitely needs to get past that $4,300 mark for this to happen. As you guys can see on the long-term weekly scale, here we are at 250. We are basically playing around with this area back in 2019, around that area, and that leads us all the way to 290, which was the bottom of this support area, which now turns resistance to the upside, right? So I am looking for a break above 251 for targets of 290 and 300 to 330 to fill that gap, and also come back to an area where it's fair value, right? So we did spend a lot of time around this area right here, and obviously it was an area where we dropped down from at that 330 area. So definitely keep your eyes on Netflix, as it does have a high opportunity, high risk reward, as you guys can say, for it to move higher. So that's Netflix. Another name that is important to me that is reporting earnings, and that is HD. Home Depot is the ticker. And I am going to switch over here to the daily time frame to give you guys my outlook, right? So Home Depot reports earnings on Tuesday. Overall, home improvement stocks have suffered this year. They're hurt by the cooling housing market. Analysts have remained optimistic, raising Home Depot's price target to $370. My overview is I'm bullish above 318 and bearish below 297.5. So for me, it is a consolidation area currently where we're at right now, from that 318 to 297 area. And that's what I want to see on a break, right? We do have analyst upgrades of $370. So the analysts are on par with the up move that you're seeing currently on Home Depot. And I can definitely see this break 318 to test this 340 area where we got a rejection here back on March. So I am bullish on Home Depot overall. It has been grinding higher, kind of under the radar. It is one of the names that we do trade on our daily watch list. So I am looking for a break above 318 for my targets of 340, as we do have this big resistance point. Going over to the weekly chart to give you guys the long-term frame. As you guys know, 318 is an area where we definitely had weekly resistance, right? We're talking about 4 weeks of rejection before we finally gave out to the bears, and it did drop us, right? So I am looking for a bullish move above 318, and if we cannot get above 318, 297 is an area of support. It was an area of support right here back in June 2021. It is held right now by the moving average of the 9 EMA. So if we do get a break below the 9 EMA, which is that 297.50 area, I am bearish, and my targets for Home Depot would be that 280 bear break, right? So I am looking for a break move, bear move below that 297.50 area for take profits of 280. Overall, just judging by the overall outlook of the analysts, I do believe that we are going to head higher to test this area of 340. But like I said, guys, a lot of this stuff hinges on the market moving higher. You're not going to have the S&P 500 tank while HD is moving substantially higher. It just doesn't work that way. It's just going to drag it down. Even if there was bullish earnings, it would fade it all the way back to where it was. So definitely keep your eyes on the market for names like this to succeed. Another name that is reporting earnings on Tuesday is Walmart. So the ticker for that is WMT. And Walmart, basically reporting earnings on Tuesday. The company's shares fell 11.4% after its previous earnings report back in May, when it slashed its forecast, its profit forecast. So it was the biggest single day decline for the stock since October last year. Uh, I'm bullish above 134 and bearish below 126. And if you're looking at this weekly chart right here, you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about, right? We had a big drop on that earnings, like I did mention, pretty much dropping all the way from 150 down to 117. And here we are on the next earnings as it's climbed all the way to that 134 area where it did spend some time. And it was a previous rejection area back in 2020, right? So again, guys, above 134, we have a lot of consolidation in between that area and a break there. I do have targets of 144.50. As I did mention, they did have bearish earnings last time. So, if it's not as bearish as last time and things are picking up in terms of the company growth, I can definitely see a break above 134. And my targets are that 144.50. If I were to switch here for the daily time frame, you could see how many rejections that we've had recently. We've had a major rejection here at 134, which dropped us down to 120. We had another rejection here at 134, dropped us down to 126. So we are ping-ponging between that 134 and 120 no trade zone. So if we do get bearish earnings, I'm definitely looking at that 126 area where we bounced off recently to break for take profit targets of 117. So Walmart will be on point, will be an area and emphasis that I will be looking at, and I also will be instructing students in real time if we do get news on Walmart and a push higher or a push lower, right? We do have targets on both those. So that's my overview on Walmart. And to me, honestly, if I was to like quickly look at the weekly chart, I'm I'm neutral right now, right? I'm neutral because this 134 area is an area of major resistance to me. If we can get past that, I would be more bullish. But right now, I'm sitting on the sidelines and waiting to see what happens with their earnings, right? Earnings are always a tricky play. You just don't know, especially during these turbulent market times. You could beat, but the S&P 500 could be tanking, so that could tank Walmart. So there's a lot of areas, a lot of factors that come into place when you're beating on earnings. It's just not the company itself. Perhaps the overall market itself is bearish, and that would bring the stock itself down. But right now, as I look at it, I am neutral on Walmart. And I am, you know, halfway bearish as well because it did have such a terrible earning drop last time. What's not to say it won't happen again, taking us down to that 117 area where it is high a possibility. All right. Another name that is similar to it, and that is Target, right? TGT is the ticker, and I am going to switch over here to daily time frame. And as I did mention, Target is also reporting earnings on Wednesday, uh, day after Walmart, so it could definitely correlate with each other. So definitely see how Walmart's going to do. Could also trickle down to Target, so keep that in mind. According to analysts, Q2 results won't likely be too many surprises. It won't bring too many surprises, I should say, after retailer unveiled its inventory optimization plan and cut its guidance intra-quarter, and that's not good, right? They're already basically telling you that we're not gonna do good do good on earnings if you're going to be cutting your guidance already, right? So I'm bullish above 183 and bearish below 166, right? So again, similar to Netflix, right? We have this major gap right here. And this again happened on an earnings bomb. And here we are grinding slowly. And to me, why do I say I'm bullish above 183? It is an area of resistance. It was an area of support right here that held previous support on the way up. It turns into difficult resistance, right? So 183, if we can break past that, I am very positive that we can potentially hit 196 and 206, filling up this gap similar to Netflix. Now, obviously, both stocks are completely different from each other. However, I'm just giving you an example of a scenario if we do get a break above a certain resistance point, which at this point is 183. Now, if we are bearish, and obviously, as analysts say, Not too many surprises are going to be happening, and they're cutting on guidance. What am I looking at to the downside? Obviously, 166 is an area where we recently crossed, basically teasing us and pretty much trying to fill this gap. The volume isn't the greatest, as you guys can see on the volume drop right here, significant right here, another, and the volume has been declining, right? So this has been grinding slower. It's not one of those fast moving stocks. So, on an earnings bomb, I can definitely see us dropping below 166 and hitting targets of 151, which is an area of support. As you guys can see here, we bounced off recently on July the 26th. So definitely look at 166 as that support line breaks for bearish earnings to hit target 151. So that's my views on target overall. If I was to switch over here to the weekly time frame, I can pretty much tell you that judging by the stock, it's still in a downtrend, right? And this right here is a bear flag, right? Here's the pole itself, here's the flag, and it's still within that area where we could break down and continue that pattern, right? And drop us even further lower. We have 151, that's my target. We also have an area where it can drop to around that 137 area, where obviously the bull stepped in and held that. So a few things can happen. It could drop to that 151, hold there, consolidate, and then proceed lower. Or it could beat on earnings and get past that 183 mark, filling that gap at 196 to 206. So, a lot of things can happen with Target, but according to analysts, not much is going to happen. So, hey, we can consolidate currently where we're at and, let the chips fall where they may. All right, guys. So those were four stocks that I want to discuss. Target, as you guys can see here, Walmart, similar. Definitely keep an eye on both of those as they do have correlation to each other, right? So if Walmart bombs on that day on Tuesday, perhaps Target is also going to follow through on Wednesday with a bomb, right? Home Depot reporting earnings on Tuesday, along with Netflix, with that opportunity to fill that gap. Keep your eyes on that. And the overall market is in good condition. We need to get past that 4,300 for me to turn into a bull. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in trading with us on our Wealthy Mentor Trading Group on Discord, click that link in description. Thank you so much and good luck trading. See you guys next week.